What's good, y'all? We're gonna wait till a couple people come in, man. Got a lot to rap about. Man. ESPN tripping, Chicago Sky tripping. Y'all know what this is about to be today, man. I don't know. Do I go with Eagles championship joint? Do I go with the Super Bowl? Or do I just go like this, man? We still got the fresh cut, so we keep it that way. We're just gonna wait a couple minutes till somebody come in. Because I don't want to end up repeating myself all crazy, you know. My man Jared is here. What's going on? What's up, Jared? Got a lot to talk about, a lot to cover, man. So I didn't do a video last night about the game. I started to, but then I saw HD went live late. You know what I mean? He'd be on the late joint, and I just said, you know what? I'll just go over there and chill with them for a little bit. By then, I realized I was sleepy as hell, right? And I just kind of faded out, went to sleep, you know, on his show. So that's kind of what happened. You know what I mean? Hopefully it didn't seem rude or nothing. I ain't even do it on purpose. It just kind of faded out. So anyway, Chicago Sky lose a tough one, man, to the Minnesota Lynx. Listen, this one was hardcore. This one was tough, man. This one was tough. And it was tough because it was a winnable game. It was a winnable game, and then we lose as a result of a whole bunch of stuff, man. But I think the main contributor to it was, of course, the absence of Ariel Atkins. Ariel Atkins is a player, I tell you all the time, in order for the Chicago Sky to do anything, make any type of turnaround, make this season into anything, which it started to look like they could, Ariel Atkins has to give us 20 points a night. And what happened? The game where we beat the best team in the league, record-wise, Ariel Atkins gives 27. Last night she was a little bit more passive, but I felt like at some point she probably would have turned it on. That would probably been the plan. We never got to that, though. We never got to that because she leaves in that third quarter. And right then, man, my whole heart just dropped. I said, oh, man, this thing is over. This thing is over. I already know we ain't winning this thing without Ariel Atkins. And I just knew it. Angel Reese, like I said, I ain't never worried about Angel Reese. Bro rap. She gonna bring what she gotta bring. The tougher the situation, the better she gonna play. That's just how she built. That's just how she get down. And I'm not surprised by any of that. You feel me? Now, just going over this game briefly, man, because I want to get to ESPN's ranking of the top 25 women. I really want to get to that, you know. So, briefly, man, Camila Cardoso, I don't know what the deal was with that. I felt like the team wasn't going to her enough, and I'm not understanding this in these inconsistent approaches that the Chicago Sky are coming with. Like, 1 minute, there's a concerted effort to go to Camila Cardoso and feed them bigs. Feed Angel, Camila, E. Will, right? And we tend to have success when you got that element along with Ariel Atkins, aggressive. Forget all the Rachel Banham and all that. That's side stuff. Rachel Banham's and listen, shout out to Rachel Banham. She's been playing well throughout this little stretch where Chicago's been playing better. I'm not taking nothing away from her, but what I'm saying is, in order for the Chicago Sky to turn it around, you need three consistent things. You need Camila and Angel doing their thing, and you need Ariel Atkins to be aggressive. She wasn't. You kind of saw the results of that. However, this game was on the seesaw. Chicago definitely still could have and should have won this game, man. I feel like if she was in there. But what I'm not understanding is there was a lack of a concerted effort to go into Camila. When Camila was in there, we weren't establishing her in the post. And you have to do that. I think what Tyler Marsh does is he starts thinking too much. And what he did was he looks at one game, and because we won a certain way in one game, I think what Tyler Marsh does is he thinks or he anticipates that the coach is going to strategize for how he lost last time, and he tries to switch it up, which is a mistake. You know, I hate when coaches do that. continue the same game plan until the opponent, the hell with what they planning for, until the opponent proves that they can stop what you're doing. That team ain't got no answer for Camilla, man. Only thing they were doing was trying to rush her, crowd her, which is fine. Still keep trying. Don't allow that to stop you from doing what you're doing. All right, they crowd you a couple times. All right, boom, that's when you kick it out to Bantam. Boom, that's when you kick it out to Allen. Bam, that's when you kick it out to Nurse. You have them shoot threes, or bam, kick it in the Angel, have her drive to the hole, or hit a 15-foot or whatever. Just make sure that you have it where Camilla's prepared for it. And as long as that issue don't work a couple of times, they'll stop doing it. But still keep going into Camilla. Don't allow Camilla to have 6 points in the game just because Cheryl Reeves made some adjustments. I'm not feeling that. That's the one thing I would say I didn't like. Rachel Bantam, shout out to her. She stepped up 15 points. That's either here nor there. Same thing with Rebecca Allen, 10 points. She did some knuckleheaded stuff last night, but 10 points for her. Angel Reese again was spectacular. She's on an epic run right now. 22 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 turnovers, which, we want to see improvement on. But some of the turnovers, you got to understand, they ain't all just passes and getting the ball stolen. Some of that stuff is like, setting the screen and it's a pick and all of that, and they putting that on her and all that. So all turnovers are bad, but they're not all created equal. Some of that stuff it comes down to the team needs to just tighten up certain areas. But overall, the team is playing better, man. Like, I can't really get mad at them for losing to Minnesota, especially without Ariel Atkins. You're talking about a team in Chicago Sky who earlier on in the season were getting blown out on a nightly basis. Right? Blown out on a nightly basis. And then they turn around and they're playing a lot better. You know what I mean? So there you go, man. I ain't mad. Now, to give some shout out, you got to get a Lynx some credit. Mafisa Collier again. Great numbers, 29 points. Caleb McBride, 17. And Courtney Williams, 18. That's their big three. So, he did what he did. Bridget Carlton, a nice 11 points. Alana Smith, 4. Not much from her, but honestly, I feel like if Ariel Atkins was in that game, Chicago had a serious chance of winning. I feel like Chicago knows how to beat Minnesota, and they probably would have won that game. That's just a feeling that I have. Of course, obviously, they could have lost, but the feeling I had is that, they could have won the game, I'm seeing some of the comments here, which I'm going to deal with a little bit later. But just real quick, Almiro's saying Angel does knucklehead stuff. I mean, if that you pointing that out, the shooter, are you saying that's the reason we lost the game? You realize how much knucklehead stuff those other players do? And you going to point out Angel does knucklehead stuff? Like, why does your attention go to that? That's the only question I got. You know what I mean? All right. Yeah, that's true. We do get DZA Digital says, Fulan speaks, please call out Angel for a green. No, I'm not calling out for no damn game gripping turnovers. I'm not doing that. I mean, you go do that. You get your channel, you do that. I'm not doing that. All right. So and please don't sit here and try to say, well, you'll call out Caitlin Clark and all that. Well, hey, ain't Caitlin Clark the best ever? Right? Ain't she the best ever? Right? And I don't believe we lost the game because of some turnovers from Angel Reese. If I believe that, I will call it out. But I don't believe that's the reason we lost the game. I really don't. I believe the game was lost because Ariel Atkins goes down. And I don't believe we can beat a team like Minnesota without Ariel Atkins. Just as simple as that. When your best guard is Rachel Bantam, like, who are you going to beat? That's the issue. Right? Kia Nurse, Rachel Bantam, these are your guards right now when Ariel Atkins is out. Right? But of course, Angel, you can't have 5 turnovers. But am I going to sit there and blame that on the loss? I think that would just be ridiculous to do. When really she's the only person, when you're watching the game, she's the only person you feel any confidence in giving her the ball. Right? Like, when Ariel Atkins is out, who else you want to give the ball to make any decisions? You going to give it to Rachel Bantam? You're going to give it to freaking Rebecca Allen, who's a complete knucklehead, who just, She hardly even passes the ball. You want to give it to Kia Nurse or you want to give it to Angel Reese? Right, that's kind of like at the end of the day. Of course, when she's coached, you got to coach that out. Yeah, don't turn that ball over. Yeah, of course, you know, not going to deny that. But if you think I'm gonna come in here and then that's gonna be the story of this of this game, no, I just don't feel that should be. All right, what we got here? We got ESPN's top 25. I just had it up, man. All right, just had it up here. Here we go. Here we go. All right, so ESPN puts out their ranking of the 25 best players at the All-Star break. Now, this is where it's going to get good. Should I go from the bottom should I go 25 up or should I go 1 to 25? What do y'all think? What do y'all suggest? Should I start 25 and go up to 1 or should I start at 1 and go back to 25? Any ideas here? 1 to 25? Yeah, I kind of think so too. All right, so I'm not going to read much of the article here, but at number 1, say Cardoso didn't step up. Well, Down to Earth Productions, that's true. But Cardoso, they weren't making a considered effort to get her the ball, and she was getting triple teamed every time they got it. That was pretty much the strategy because they don't have an answer for her. That's part of what was happening. So just stepping up, just saying she ain't step up. I mean, it's like part of that is you have to have a concerted effort of helping the player as well. You got to make yourself available for outlet passes when they get the ball and they're surrounded. And there's a number of things you got to do. All right, so number 1, excuse me, they got Nafisa Collier, Minnesota Lynx. All right, so Nafisa Collier is not the best player in the WNBA, but if the criteria or if what we're looking for is the player who has done the best right now or is the most impactful or the most valuable or whatever, it depends on what you're doing, then I understand. All right, Nafisa Collier is leading the league in 23.6 points per game, 7.9 rebounds per game, 3.4 assists per game. All right, that's what ESPN has with Nafisa Collier. I understand it. I disagree with it. In the number 1 spot for me, not the best player, but the one who's the most impactful and so on would be AT Alyssa Thomas. Alyssa Thomas would be number 1 for me right now. And the reason being is Alyssa Thomas went over to the Phoenix Mercury with hardly no expectations. All right. She missed some games, which could kind of go against her a little bit. She missed some games, right? But if you look at the player who is doing the most with less, when you consider the fact that Satu Sabali has missed a lot of time, Kalia Cabra missed damn near the whole season. And where the Phoenix Mercury were last year, where they were, for me, Alyssa Thomas right now is the most impressive player for me. I just watched them last night against the Valkyries. She's a beast. She's a beast, right? For me, it ain't about her numbers right now. We know she's not this big prolific scorer, but 15 points per game is nothing to sneeze at. Those very good, respectable numbers on a 53.8% shooting from the floor. She's leading the league in assists with 9.5 a game. All right, and a respectable 7.5 rebounds, especially for a player who essentially plays point guard. Right, she's technically a forward, but she's really the point guard of the team. They're always looking for her to set up everything. She is a genius out there. Knows when to drive, knows when to kick. Is stellar on defense. For me, Alyssa Thomas will be number 1. That's me. All right. Number 2, they got here Aja Wilson. Aja Wilson, the consensus best player in the WNBA. I don't care about these particular, rankings and all of that. If you're talking about who's just the best player, put all these players on the floor, who's going to be the most dominant, is Aja Wilson. It's not even close, right? So, now, because of where the Aces are, right? Like I think the last time I saw them, they're around 7th or 8th or something like that. They somewhere where the teams, middling teams like the Fever and those other like little teams are. You can't put her 1, right? They got her 2 here. For me, she would be 3, right? But we're not saying who's the best player. If it's best player, it's AJ Wilson. She's always best player. I don't give a damn what the circumstances is. I don't care what planet they're on. I don't give a damn they were all on Mars right now. AJ Wilson's the best player. But we're talking about this season, what's happening, who's doing the most for their team, where the team standings are, and so on. You got to put her. She can't be 1 or 2 for me. I will go number 1. Alyssa Thomas, number 2. Nafisa Collier, number 3. AJ Wilson. All right, but here with ESPN, they got her 2. Right, and it's probably because who she was. Her previous rank was 1, so they dropped her from 1 to 2. So basically, they flipped Nafisa and AJ Wilson here. Number 3, they got Alyssa Thomas. I ain't got no problem with that. I guess because basically she was 5 before. I think they had in front of her maybe John Quell, and they had Stewie in front of her. Yeah, I agree. Definitely in front of them this year so far. She's the most impactful player in the league right now. All right, 4, they got Breanna Stewart. Who's at 19.5 points a game, 6.7 rebounds, 3.8. I don't have a problem with Breanna Stewart here because of who she is. Legendary player, Hall of Famer without a doubt. Having a good season by the numbers, and then she's 53% on with it. And New York Liberty is one of the best teams in the league. So Breanna Stewart at 4. I mean, what you gonna do? Bitch about that? I'm not gonna do that. So the only thing I'm disagreeing with so far is I think Alyssa Thomas should be 1. Sabrina Ionescu at 5. I don't know about this one, man. This is the first time we got like a little bit of Sabrina Ionescu at 5. Now her numbers, 19.4 points per game, 5.3 assists, but I gotta look at. I gotta get Sabrina. If someone could pull up Sabrina's percentage for me, that would be well appreciated. But she's giving you 19, 5, and 4. Those are good. Right now, I'm going to hold that. I don't know if Sabrina is number 5 right now. I don't know. Look at Angry Fan. Yo, I'm going to get to your nut ass in a minute, Angry Fan. You know what I mean? You trust me. I'm going to get to you in a minute. Matter of fact, I'm going to get to you in a minute. But right now, we're going to do this list. You know what I'm saying? I bet you. Where you got Clark at, Angry Fan? Huh? Where you got Clark at? Like 2 or 1? Well, crazy, man. All he knows is Clark. Clark. Come on, man. All right, so 6, Alicia Gray. Ooh, we got the first problem here. We got the first problem here. There is no way on God's green earth Sabrina Ionescu should be in front of Alicia Gray. There's no way. One could argue Alicia Gray could be top 3 before Stewie. One could make that argument. I'm not going to do that because it's New York, right? But Alicia Gray should not be behind Sabrina Ionescu. That's the first problem we got here. Right, Alicia Gray is averaging 19.4, 5.5 rebounds. I mean, her numbers are almost the same as Sabrina's, but she's shooting 42% from that 3-point line too. Alicia Gray going with it, and talking about the Atlanta Dream being a surprise team. So I would probably, man, if it was me, I would flip Sabrina and Alicia Gray. Alicia Gray got to be top 5 this season so far. To have her at 6 behind Sabrina, I don't agree with that. All right, you got to look at Sabrina's help by, I just don't see it right now. That's not to say that she's necessarily a better player than Sabrina. I don't know. I would have to really sit down and think about who's a better player at Alicia Gray and Sabrina Ionescu, but so far this year, I think you got to make the argument and lean more towards Alicia. All right, number 7 is Satu. If it wasn't for the fact that Satu has missed some games, I think I'm putting Satu over Sabrina as well. I think I'm putting Satu over Sabrina as well. Satu should be, if it's me, okay. This is going to get interesting because you got Leah Boston at 8. All right, so Satu should be above Sabrina as me for me as well. Close, but above Sabrina, man. Satu is a beast. Satu is a beast. And the Phoenix Mercury, right now, are my pick to possibly win it all. Right? Yeah, I'm gonna go out there and say that. The Phoenix Mercury, but on the condition that Satu and Khalid Copper are healthy. I think they got the best big three. Well, and I don't know, John Quill Jones, Stewie, and Sabrina, something, but they got a comparable big three. I'll say they're comparable. I'm not gonna say they're better. They have a comparable big three, and they got, man, just as much depth. You know, if you look at Satu and Khalid Copper out, and the way they played against the Valkyries and the way they just smoked the storm and teams like that, you know, was crazy without Satu and without Copper. It's crazy. So Satu for me would be around 5 or 6. They got her at 7. She top 10, so I don't argue about top 10 too much. Aaliyah Boston at 8. I think that's a good spot for Aaliyah. Aaliyah, for my money, has been the best 5 in the league this year. Best 5 in the league this year, man. Aaliyah Boston is a monster. And rightfully, the first Fever mentioned, Angry Fan, the first Fever mentioned on this list. Absolutely. Should be Aaliyah Boston. She's the cornerstone of that squad. Number one, she always available. Ain't out. Steady. Get her to rock. She's the anchor of the defense and everything else. She's the toughest player y'all got. Really, the only player I respect when it comes to toughness. Aaliyah Boston at 8. That's a good spot for her. Top 10. Clark ain't make no damn Aaliyah Boston better, boy. What you talking about, man? Get off Clark. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Clark ain't make her better. She made Clark better. Why would Clark like have those assists without Aaliyah Boston? Would Clark like be second? Because she's not leading in assists no more. Would she be second in assists without Aaliyah Boston? Ask yourself that question. And then number 9, Caitlin Clark. Number 9 is Caitlin Clark at 16.7 points per game, 9 assists per game, and 4 rebounds per game. While currently being in a slump. I looked at her numbers. Clark is under 30%, okay, from the field. Okay? To a group of people that used to make fun of Angel Reese, who we're going to talk about later. Angel Reese is almost at 44% from the field. Caitlin Clark ain't never been 44% from the field. Caitlin Clark is right now under 30%. She's around 28 somewhere from the field. Ain't no way in the world she should be top 10 right now. That's a travesty. It's a lie. And it's just to appease those fans. It's to appease people like Angry Fan, to keep them happy, right? Because they constitute a large amount of fans. They're buying a lot of jerseys. They're doing these things. Caitlin Clark is just throwing a bone right now. This is a popularity bone they threw her. There's no way in the world, with the slump she's been on, that Caitlin Clark should be in the top 10. Now, if you want to argue she's a top 10 player when at her best, that's your business. But right now, if we're talking about the way players are playing right now, Caitlin Clark ain't no top 10 player. Not at all. All right. 13 to 41 from the field and 5 for 19 from 3. Says coming back. So she went out all that time, came back, and it's 5 for 19 from 3. That's putrid. Okay? That's barely, what's that, 20%? If that. It's putrid. Well, 25% maybe. It's putrid. Nneka Ogwumike of the Seattle Storm. Why is she behind Caitlin Clark? Why is the best player on Seattle behind 2 Indiana Fever players when the Storm have a better record? And she's averaging more points than both of them. How does ESPN justify that? You got Aaliyah Boston, who I ain't gonna lie, been a monster at 16.2. Caitlin Clark is 16.7. Nneka at 17. With a 50% clip. Caitlin Clark under 30% from the floor. How do you justify her being above Nneka Ogwumike? So we see right now what ESPN is doing is they're just throwing bones to certain players to appease certain fan bases because that fan base that she has MAGA tendencies, and right now we're living in an age where people are afraid of MAGA people, not people like me, but just general populace, afraid of MAGA people, and they're crying that they're gonna do, complaining that they're gonna do, crying about DEI and all that kind of stuff. Even though they play her right now, Caitlin Clark is in one of the most amazing slumps I've ever seen. How is Leah Boston or Caitlin Clark ahead of Nneka Ogwumike? Worst record, worst numbers. What are you doing, ESPN? This is the first big boo-boo, okay? Skylar Diggins. All right, so I see I'm going to have to redo this whole damn list. I forgot about Skylar. Skylar right now is at 18.2 points, okay? She's at 40% from the three-point line. 40% from the free throw line, three-point line, 40%, 18.2 points per game. She's at 11. And when you got Caitlin Clark at 16.7, Skylar at 18.2, Caitlin is at 28% from three. Skylar's at 40% from three. But Caitlin Clark is ahead of Skylar Diggins. Oh, yeah, you're right, Israel, 37%. That sucks. Coming in with some damn stuff. Oh, she's 37%. Get it right. You're right. When I looked at it, she's under 40. That's horrible. All right. Skylar Diggins is shooting better from three than Caitlin Clark is from two. Do you understand what that means? I'm making more from the three-point line than you doing in layups and whatever other bullshit you do. You little corny behind floaters, which you don't have, all of those types of things. This is what's happening. But she listed before her. Why? They're throwing their DEI bones, right? Because they don't want to make MAGA mad. Can someone else give me another reason? Storm have a better record. And better individual numbers. Why would Caitlin Clark be 9 and Skylar Diggins be 11? And she's one of the best defensive guards in the league. Look at Israel with his dumbass answer. Because CC generates more points than Skylar. That's not the way basketball is judged, buddy. That's not how basketball is judged. Generating points. What do you mean generating points? That's not how you judge basketball, dog. That's just some new stuff that they're coming up with in order to try to prop this player up. You ain't never heard that before. Magic Johnson or Jason Kidd generates all these points with assists. You know the problem I have with that? You know the problem I have with Caitlin Clark's game when I watch it? Among the things I have a problem with is that how many times does she pass the ball, right? When it's not for an assist. How many times does she pass the ball when it's not, the intention for it is not to be an assist? You know what I mean? Like, just in the general offense, just swinging the ball around to find the open player. How many times she do that? Or she just keep dribbling till she got a player in position to pass it to him to get an assist. Now, if you think that's good offense, then that's your business. Generates more points. And I don't even know if that's true. Skylar's getting you 18 points a night and 6 assists. I don't even know if that's true. But anyway, 12. This dude, Israel, good dude. I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's a good dude. This dude always gets my blood pressure going because his points be just crazy. Angry fan talking about I love Clark's game. What I love, bunch of logo threes, no floater, no post game, a whack mid range. Because even on the mid-range shot, she do step backs. She do step back mid-range shots. How you doing step backs from the damn foul line? That's what you doing. Come on, man. Stop it, bro. I grew up watching Mike and Kobe and them. That's who I grew up watching. You talking about love for Caitlin Clark game. What are you talking about, bruh? Caitlin Clark plays like James Harden. She's just not as good as he was, obviously, but that's basically what she does. The shot selection is Harden-esque. All right, so Kelsey Plum comes in at 12. And Kelsey Plum is at 19 points per game, damn near 20, 19.9, basically 20 points per game, 5 assists and 1.4 steals. So numbers-wise, she's better than Skylar, Caitlin, all of them, right? But I don't have a problem with Kelsey being at 12 because of the Sparks record, right? Not saying it's all her fault, but I understand how that can be held against you. But even still, I will put her above Clark, though, because she's just not playing as bad as Clark. Clark has to be held accountable for the slump that she's in, right? You can't be in a historic slump but still be considered better than, and y'all already know, I already think Kelsey Plum is better than Caitlin Clark anyway, because I judge players off a skill set. Plum got a floater, Plum got a midi, Plum got a left-hand layup because she's left-handed, Plum got a right-hand layup, Plum got whatever is in the bag that could be in the bag that's a move, she got all of them, right? Plum actually did more impressive things in college than Caitlin did. Do y'all know that when Kelsey Plum was going for the record in college, right? When she was going for the scoring record that y'all talk about Caitlin did, don't you know she had one game and she had to score 50 damn points in that game to get that record? And don't you know she did that shit on good shooting? Wasn't just dumb shit. Don't you know that? Plum is a beast, right? Definitely, if you're talking about just a scoring machine type of guard, I'm taking her over your girl any day. But we ain't going to make this about her. But right now, I'm just seeing Caitlin as being the most egregious top 10 pick right now. That's just what I'm seeing. And Sabrina is kind of egregious too, right? But it's hard to argue because New York's record. That's the only reason I'm not going in on the Sabrina being up there, because of New York's record kind of justifies it. Whereas they got Caitlin Clark in front of people who got better records and better numbers. That's what they got going on, which is ridiculous. And that's why I don't want to hear none of that shit on your page, Angry Fan and all Courtside Junkie and all y'all about they're against her. Nobody's against her. She gets thrown bones more than anybody. They throw her whole bags of bones, bruh. Like, what are we talking about? They throw her whole bags of bones for not earning nothing. For sucking, you still get to be called top 10. For being trash. Because that's what she is playing like right now. Garbage. See, what's more impressive than having the most points in college history? Stop it, Fulan. Why is that the most impressive thing? What's more impressive than that? I don't know. A ring or two? I don't know. You there just to score points or you there to win? I don't know. What's more impressive than the most points? Just scoring points. Ooh, God. Like, come on, man. Really? All right. So, number 13 is Paige Beckers. Listen, man. Y'all know. If I'm not the biggest Paige Beckers fan in this space, I'm top 3. This girl is the most polished rookie that I've seen since maybe a Candace Parker. Just polished. Game smooth. Got down. Knows what to do. All of that. But I think to have her the 13th best player right now so far is not right. Dallas Wings right now, because you got to look at it. Paige went from the preseason being completely unranked off the list, off the top 25. She skips all these people whose teams are in contention. And I get it. It's not her fault that Dallas is like that, because Enrique right now is playing like Zibale. Okay, she's playing like Zibale. Okay, which is an Arabic word for trash. Okay, that's what she's playing like. I get it. But, like, I can't put Paige at 13. And I love you, Paige. I do. I just can't do it. But just to talk about her individual numbers are stellar. 18.3 points per game at 45% from the floor. That's ridiculous. It is. For a point guard, that's ridiculous. To be 45% efficiency. 5.4 assists she's giving you. She's a beast. Her defensive awareness and defensive skills, for real. Paige Beckers is a monster. I've just got to have some integrity with it. When your team is just like not even nowhere near contention, I can't put you top 15. That's all. Skill-wise, she might be top 10, for real. She's definitely better than you know who skill-wise, right? People who don't see that, they just in denial. "14, Jackie Young at 17 and a half, 4.2 and 3.9 assists per game. Listen, even though I believe Jackie Young is better than CC, that's not the argument I'm making right now. What I'm saying is the Aces and Fever record is about the same. Jackie's numbers are better than Caitlin's. So how do you justify one being 9th and one being 14th? When one is a two-way player, the other one is notoriously bad on one end of the floor and is in a ridiculous offensive slump. How do you justify that? One, Jackie Young can play point guard, she can play two guard, and she can play three. CC fans admittedly say Caitlin can't play the three. How do you justify saying she's better than Jackie Young? How do you do that? Without being a retard and acting like the defensive side of the floor don't matter. And the only thing that matters is some fucking assists. That's the only argument you can make. Because she passes. That makes her better than everybody. Jackie Young shouldn't be 14 if Caitlin Clark is going to be 9. They should both be around 14, 15. If anything. If we're just going to be fair, since their team's record is about the same. That's all I'm saying. Kelsey Mitchell at 15. Listen. Kelsey Mitchell right now is at 19.2 points per game, 45% from the floor. What they should do is flip Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark, and then I'd be cool. Put Caitlin at 15, Kelsey at 9, and I'd be good. The hell with what you think about the two players. Right now, one is playing way better than the other. There's no justification for this. Again, your girl is just Clark made Mitchell better. Look at Angry Fan. You was a liar, bro. You was a liar. You're a liar. Because we already did all that. I looked all that up. Kelsey Mitchell is a 17 a night average anyway. She been averaging 17 a night. You can watch the game. She don't need Clark to set her up, bro. Give Kelsey the ball. Get the fuck out the way. That's all you got to do with her. You ain't got to do none of that. Matter of fact, it's better if Clark out the way. You see what she do, how she cook when Clark sitting down? Come on, bro. Come on, man. You know better than that. Don't be silly. Don't be silly. You know what I mean? Don't be silly. What they should do at least. If you're going to do that. If one of the Fever got to be up there, put Kelsey at 9. Kelsey averages 19 and a half. Clark averages 16.7, bro. There's no explanation for that. It's egregious. It's egregious. If I'm Kelsey, I'm going to get away from that team, bro. You don't never get no credit for nothing. You go to the finals, you do all the work, and they'll be like, Clark won the title. That's what they would do. Mitchell only scores. Only scores. Like, scores is like, I would say 40% of what's important. You got to score out of everything else. Anyway, Ryan Howard at 16. 16 and a half points, 5 rebounds, 4.5 assists. I don't have a problem with Ryan Howard at 16. I ain't got a problem with that. Ryan Howard, as I always say to y'all, top 5 talent in the league. Just raw talent. She just doesn't, she's just not living up to it. Real rap. Tall, handles, can shoot, 3-level scorer, can D up. Ryan Howard is like, if you were to just make in a lab a 6'2" guard or forward, whatever you want to do, you're gonna come up with something similar to Ryan Howard. For real. She just, I don't know, something in here, I don't know, that she got to get to, I think. But I ain't got no problem with her at 16. But I'm just making it clear, talent-wise, top 5. But in reality, about 16. 17, we got Kayla McBride. I think that's fair. 13.9, 37.9 from the 3, which is down for her. She's normally a 40%er. She in a little bit of a slump, but this is a realistic slump. It ain't a CC slump. CC slump is historically bad. This is like what you normal type slump. Number 18 is Chi-Town Barbie herself, Angel Reese. Here at 13.6 points per game, 12.8 rebounds, and 1.6 steals. All right, listen. Angel Reese's impact is hard to measure, or where you place her is hard to measure, similar to Alyssa Thomas to me. It's a similar type of thing. In that they're generally not the most prolific scorers with the most fanciest scoring game. But there are players that their team absolutely needs on the floor to have a shot to do anything at all because of all they do. The playmaking, the scoring, the controlling the game through controlling the boards, causing a team to have to commit 2-3 players to just trying to box her ass out, and it still don't work. The disruption of the passing lanes just because of her sheer wingspan, 7 foot, right? Just, she's a player it's hard to, she's a unicorn, as Satu Sabli called her. Satu Sabli called her that, a unicorn. Problem I'm having here, though, Chicago Sky's record makes it hard for me to justify saying 18 is completely disrespectful, even though in my heart I feel like it kind of is. Like, I kind of feel like there's players here that she's better than. But it's hard to say, all right, you got to be in front of McBride when McBride's on Minnesota. Minnesota is up there, but her numbers are better. She should be in front of McBride because McBride really is the number 2 wheel. Reese is the number 1. She should be ahead of McBride. She should. Ryan Howard. Who should be in front? Angel or Ryan? I got to think about that one. Though Ryan is the number 2. Kelsey Mitchell, should Angel be in front of Kelsey Mitchell? I think so, but Kelsey Mitchell numbers are crazy. It's hard to say. Point is, for me, Angel Reese is top 15. I don't like 18. I don't like the number 18. I don't think so. If you look at the historic tear she's going on, she is doing shit that others can't do. Ain't nobody else just grabbing double-doubles in their sleep like that, right? Other players ain't out there just, making it hard for the best forwards in the league to score just their average. Other players ain't doing that, man. Other players ain't doing that. I saw when Camila Cardoso went out, she played the 5. She did that well. She talked about the versatility, man. But I'm not going to make a stink and go crazy about it. Say the list is horrible, putting her at 18. I'm not, only because of Chicago's record. If Chicago's record was better, I'd be in here going crazy. If they had her at 18, how dare you? How dare you? But I know who should be back there with her somewhere, even though 18 ain't back there. Caitlin Clark should be about 19, 20. If I'm going to keep it a buck, right? You go out, your team's still able to be around 500. So do they need you like that? Not really. Not really. They can just change up their strategy and still be a comparable team. Stephanie White proved that. Right? 19, we got Derek Hamby. It's about right. Derek Hamby should be top 25. She can't be top 10, 15. Sparks' record is too messed up. Yeah, she's somewhere around here. Yeah, at 16 and 7 and 3. But look at these. The only person I'm seeing with double-digit boards is Angel. Everybody else, 9 boards, 8, 4. She is the chairwoman of the boards. Like, people compare her to Dennis Rodman. For me, I compare her to Moses Malone. And I watch Moses. Chairman of the boards is what they called him. That's Reese is. Number 20, Gabby Williams. Had 14 points, 5 assists, 2.6 steals. Dang, 2.6 steals. That's crazy. Gabby balling, man. I wish she would have came back to Chicago, but Chicago reputation is bad. 21, Brianna Jones. At 13, 7 and 2. I guess you got to put other bigs on there, and Atlanta is balling. 22, Brittany Sykes. No, that's disrespectful. That's disrespectful. That's disrespectful. Brittany Sykes is 17, 3 and 4. No, Brittany Sykes should be in front of some damn Caitlin. Brittany Sykes should be in front of Caitlin. She should be in front of Plum. She should be in front of damn near half of these people. Brittany Sykes should be in front of. Slum been balling this year at almost 18 a night. And you got the Mystics record similar to the Fever right there. And she averaging more than Clark. How's she behind Clark? How you do that? And she D up. Sonya Citron at 23. 14 points, 5. I guess. I got to think about that one, but I guess. Kayla Thornton. Danny disrespected Kayla Thornton. They got her at 24. Kayla Thornton should be top 15. You look at what the Valkyries are doing, and you got to talk about the Valkyries weren't expected to do anything. I picked the Valkyries to be dead last. Now, I know that could just be my ignorance, but I picked them to be dead last, and I'm just saying, I ain't see a whole lot of people that were that different. Anytime you're the best player on the expansion team that's fighting for playoff spot, I saw them last night against the Mercury, who for my money is the best team in the league, took them right down to the wire. Fever straight can't beat the Valkyries. Can't do it. Twice with your girl. Got smoked. Can't do it. Can't beat them. Can't do it. Or was it once? I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. I remember they got smoked with her. Right? That I do know. Can't beat them. And she at 24. How? It should be probably more than one Valkyrie on this list. They should be somewhere in the teens. This don't make no sense to me. How Thornton the best player on the team that's fighting for playoff contention? You got like 3 Fever on here. They just always find a way to put that big 3 on here somewhere. However, they got to do it. And because they don't want to make Megan mad, they got to have Caitlin Clark top 10. This type of stuff they doing. Caitlin should be around where Caitlin Thornton is. She should be like about, 20, 22, 23. $25, Courtney Williams. I think that's disrespectful too. She's giving you 14, 5, and 6. But when you look at the Minnesota Lynx, got the best record in the league. How you got Courtney Williams way back there? Minnesota Lynx is not a team that's just not physicality and a bunch of bums. No, they can play. These girls can play, man, on both sides of the floor. Courtney Williams should be like in teens. But I guess somebody got to be back here. It is what it is. That's kind of like my thoughts on that, man. Let me get to some of these comments here, man. I see y'all going crazy over here. Y'all going crazy over here. Let's go to this guy. So we got Angry Fan Sports says Indiana wasn't good till Clark came. No excuses. Y'all had Marbury, Carter, Reese, and Camilla. Still no playoffs. Oh, this is easy. Indiana, the year before Caitlin Clark came, right? You had Kelsey Mitchell and you had Aaliyah Boston. Okay, Aaliyah Boston was a rookie. Okay, who isn't what she is now, but she was a good rookie. Won Rookie of the Year. They won 13 games. I mean, they were a team that were not god awful. They didn't have the worst record in the league. But they did end up with the first pick, probably for some other reason. I don't know. Maybe they had someone else's pick. You know how those things work or whatever, right? But despite that, Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell were all-stars. They did make all-star teams, okay? So you're talking about two all-stars. However you want to cut it or slice it. Kelsey Mitchell was averaging over 17 a night. Aaliyah Boston was somewhere around 14, right? Okay. So when Caitlin Clark came, she just happened to be the missing piece. But this idea that she made them good is hellacious. It's a lie, right? You need all three of them. And the only way you can prove the point that you're trying to make here, that, without without Caitlin Clark, they couldn't do it or whatever, or they need her, is you have to have a situation where Caitlin Clark is with, say, Aaliyah Boston, and then there's no Kelsey Mitchell. And y'all still make the playoffs. It's the only way you can prove it. Or you have to have Caitlin and Mitchell with no Aaliyah Boston, and they make the playoffs. That's the only way you can prove that point. Other than that, you're just speculating. All right, so that point never works with me. Okay? And then you say, y'all have Mabry, Carter, Reese, and Camilla last year. That's true, but what happened, sir? What happened? Going into the break, right? The Olympic break, Mabry was what? Traded, wasn't she? Wasn't Mabry traded? Like when it was time to make the playoff run? Okay, so they didn't have Mabry. Okay. Kennedy Carter, after the Olympic break, proceeds to miss multiple games. At least a good 5 or 6, right? We were wondering what the hell's wrong with Kennedy Carter. And Kennedy Carter they say she was sick. There were pictures of her in the hospital. There was all these rumblings about stuff going on with her and the coach. It was just a mess, right? In other words, Kennedy Carter, though she's a great player, she wasn't the most reliable player last year. For whatever reason. I don't know whatever it is. I can't speculate on what's going on, but she wasn't always there. Okay? So that really doesn't work. And then Angel Reese had gotten injured right at a certain point. So that's why Chicago didn't make the playoffs. But if you remember going into the All-Star break, or not the All-Star break, the Olympic break, going into the Olympic break, I think which they coincide with the All-Star break. Remember, the Chicago Sky had just beat the Aces. So they were kind of riding high. Then Mabry gets traded, all that stuff. Then when we come out of it, that's when things kind of fell apart. Okay? I mean, you just got to tell the story accurately, bro. Can't just, you know. So we got Israel talking crazy again. Israel boy, this guy. Kelsey Mitchell couldn't take Ohio State far in the tournament. Cambridge 90 team, so she couldn't win without teammates. So that's what you're doing. You're trying to argue that Caitlin Clark doesn't have good teammates, even though like 3 of those Iowa girls are in the W. That's a silly argument that y'all try to make, which blows my mind. Patricia Daughtry says, you are spot on. Kelsey would be a fool to stay with the Fever. She would never get the credit she deserves. CC, no matter how she plays, will always be the one who saved the day. Yep. This is true. Sorry, angry fan. No, I know what you're doing. No, it's cool. We know. You're doing the right thing, for that reason. I get it. All right, so T. Carmella has a problem with something I said. He or she says, he, right, says, how in one breath you said what's better than scoring, with CC, then turn around and say, I'm okay, and turn around and say, Kim only scores. Scoring can't be a credit for one player. You must be talking to Angry Fan. Yeah. Angry Fan be tripping. Tulip plays. What's up, Tulip says. Fulan, they done snubbed Azare again. Nobody can name 20. That's true. Azare Stevens, yeah. Yeah, she should be there. Yeah, but who do you take off? Plum or you take off Hamby? I don't think they wanted to put 3 Sparks on there because of their record. That's what I'm guessing, but I don't know. Seek Laser says in the Dallas game, third quarter, CC made a very good mid-range shot. She can shoot mid-range. However, she shoot just one mid-range in the whole game. I mean, put it this way, she's not comfortable doing it. And as I always say, as it was taught to me, your game is what you do consistently. It's not what you do once in a while. Okay, so just because she shot that one mid-range and every other game she might shoot 1 or 2, that doesn't mean she has a mid-range game. When it becomes consistently part of her game, that's when you have a mid-range game, right? None of us call Angel Reese a 3-point shooter, but she's made threes before. She does it, when she shoots them, she'll do it every now and then. But that doesn't make you a 3-point shooter because you do something once in a while. Once Angel starts making 2 a game, 3 a game, that sort of thing, then we start calling her a 3-point shooter. Hope that makes sense. So Mitchell couldn't smell the playoff without Clark for years. Yeah, they didn't sufficiently build a team around Mitchell until now. So the Fever might have made the playoffs, but got smoked and swept, and it's going to happen again. I agree. Unless Caitlin Clark plays differently. What they don't understand is the blueprint for the Fever to win is Caitlin Clark really is dedicated to playing point guard and decides that she doesn't need to score a whole lot. If she just really just played a distributor, took care of the ball, and just let Natasha Howard do what she do, let Leah Boston do what she do, let Chelsea Mitchell do what she do, such and such, and was more like a Sue Bird. It played more like that. She would they would win. They could win something, right? Just go out there. If Caitlin just go out and average 15, 14, you know what I mean, and be satisfied with that, and let everybody else kind of eat. Fever could win, but I don't think she gets that. I think she feels like she needs her points and all of that, and her fans, they want to just see her playing, globetrotter ball. So that's why I say she'll never win because of that. Says real deal. Her shooting is down. The turnovers are a bit up. The defense is about the same. Her health is a real concern. Again, making the All-Star team being 13 and 27 makes you a star loser. They're All-Stars because of their individual play. That's why they made the All-Star team, not because the records of the team. So I don't know what point you're trying to make. Like, you trying to say Mitchell's not good individual player. You saying Boston's not a good individual player. Is that the argument you're trying to make? If you're not trying to make that argument, then what are we talking about? Said Reese about to be on year 3, no playoffs. Not about to be on year 3. We're on year 2 right now. And yeah, if Ariel Atkins doesn't come back, you're right. There will probably be no playoffs this year. Minnesota Lynx are the best team in the W. They beat Phoenix twice. Yeah, Phoenix beat them too. Phoenix has been injured a lot. I want to see them play Phoenix when Phoenix is fully loaded, and Phoenix has played long enough to develop chemistry. Right, a lot of those games were early in the season, and Phoenix didn't have the chemistry. But I'm picking Phoenix to win it all. Recent skyscrapers are injury. Skyscrapers are injury. Don't understand. The Fever didn't win a playoff game last year because of CC's low IQ. That's part of it. Let them tell it it'd be because Dejanay poked her in the eye. Because that's what they do. They make excuses. CC proves she can win with 3-star players. She not paid. She needs 10 5-star recruits. I know she can do the same thing with lesser team. I actually think she will play better with less talent. Um, I don't know why you think that CC win with 3-star player. Win what though? You mean just win games? Get to the what? You talking about college? Get to the You think that's the same in college, right? See, because me, I never believed those players are bad. Those players actually got to the damn WNBA. You want to talk about 5-star? Who cares about that? What that mean, right? 5-star, 2-star, 3-star. Every 5-star don't even make it out. Every 5-star don't even make it to the league. What does that mean? These are just people's opinions of the players, and I don't judge the players based on that metric. I think that's ridiculous. This idea that players carry teams and all that kind of stuff. I judge players based on individual talent. If you're going to ask me about Paige and Caitlin, we're going to talk is basketball, or you're going to talk some other stuff, right? Well, she got Iowa there with Kate Martin and whatever the other girl's names, Lucy, whatever. Okay, and what? What does that mean? Allen Iverson got the Sixers to the finals in '01, so that means he's better than Kobe because Kobe won with Shaq. Is that how you think? I don't understand. What does that have to do with the fact that Kobe is better because he's just bigger, more efficient, plays better defense, right? You were taking that away from Kobe because he played with Shaq. You say Iverson's better because he got to the finals with George Lynch and Jermaine Jones and Eric Snow. That's how you think. Okay, well, we just going to disagree. So I don't look at that. I look at that individual player outside of the team dynamic. So we're just not going to agree. Yeah, I've heard that as well, that Mitchell was injured that year too. Overjam One says Thomas recent Boston need to be checked by the league for bulldozing and trampling opponents and getting away with it. That's funny. Reginald Banks says the Sky will be in the playoffs next season and still had a chance this season after the All-Star break. They're playing. Well, what I want to hear, man, is about how Ariel Atkins is doing. If Ariel Atkins comes back, I think Chicago will make the playoffs. If Ariel Atkins does not come back, I don't see it. Unless Jeff P made some move. He just didn't build the team strong enough. They don't have enough depth. And then the little depth they have, they don't want to use. Like he refuses to play HVL, let them learn. He refuses to play Matty Westbell. And I don't know. According to Seth Talk Sports, she said that Katie played with 3 players in college who made it to the WNBA. She named them too. I don't know, but Seth knows that fucking women shit up and down, all around. She's been watching. She watches for real. Says there's 3 players that Caitlin Clark played with at Iowa that are in the WNBA. Not one. Whew. Well, they're trying to make an argument that Caitlin is like the superhero, right? Which is dumb because, if you play a game and there's 80 points or 85 points scored in the game and Caitlin scores 35, well, somebody had to score 50. Some others had to score 50, but for some reason, they don't matter because of the person who had the most points. That's obviously what he thinks. It's the way they think. Or it's convenient to think that way. Mitchell is number 2 in the WNBA in points. Wonder Bread, 22, 39 for scoring. He is 26 in scoring. Miss Goody Two-Shoe says, if CC can win with 3 star players, why did the Indiana front make so many all-season moves? Why not keep the same team and have CC carry them? Exactly. Exactly. Israel says, I'm not trying to say Kelsey Mitchell's bad. I love Kelsey Mitchell, but Kelsey Mitchell's on the right team. Now you get to play with someone who loves passing the ball. Man, I wish, if Kelsey Mitchell was on Chicago, we'd show you how to do it. Trust me. Seagley says, Liberty has cut a player to vacate a roster spot. They must be up to something. They will sign a new player to booster the squad. I couldn't care less about what the Liberty's doing, but I hear you. Pharaoh X, who clearly must be a Minnesota Lynx fan, says Minnesota Lynx are the best in off defense and offense. That's fine. They can still get got. Said Mitchell should pull a Bonner and raise up out of there. Out of that sundown town. Sundown. Bernadine Dorsey says Shaq just went in on the feminine RG3. Oh, yeah, Shaq defends his. Angel, his buddy, he going to defend her. Says Shaq took care of RG3. Jared wants to say, Jared, don't act dumb. You see Iowa team, slow, very unathletic. Well, Israel, this is the thing. None of that matters because that team works best with Caitlin Clark. Like right now, the argument you're making is that Caitlin Clark works better with those types of players than she does with great players. Right? What she needs to do to win a championship is learn how to play with great players. And that could be part of the problem that she has. Maybe she's not used to playing with like truly great players. You know, sometimes you just let them eat. It's okay to not have all the credit and all that stuff. You know what I mean? And just go along with it and win. Point guards traditionally, one of the structural problems with the Fever is the fact that the point guard wants to be the main scorer. You know, it's rare that you have a team, with the exception of maybe Golden State, and um, and the Detroit Pistons, where the main scorer being the point guard worked out. You know, um, and even with the Pistons back in the day, a lot of times Joe Dumars would be the actually the lead scorer, and sometimes microwave Vinny Johnson, he'll add points and stuff like that. And Isaiah, but traditionally point guards, man, they're not trying to be the lead scorer on the team. That always causes a problem. You don't want to be point guard and primary scorer. Now you say Steph Curry, but Steph Curry, you know what I mean? He plays off ball a lot. Sometimes Draymond Green takes up the point guard duties and stuff like that. But one of the structural problems with the Fever is the point guard is trying to be also the primary scorer. So this freezes out the team a lot because she's looking for a shot. Now if you think that could work, go for it. Go for it. We'd love for AR to get to play with AB and K in one season. And CC with Kia Nurse and E Will. I think CC would love playing with them. Then she can shoot the logo threes all she wants. Bernadine says Stephanie White felt the need to hire a real point guard and Harry McDonald. Yeah. See y'all going at it now. Yeah, Israel. AI was the man taking that team with, I know. That's your thing. You like that stuff. See, I wasn't impressed with it. I wanted to win the damn title. Being a Sixers fan, shit. I want to win. I was mad that Iverson never figured out how to work with Stackhouse. Because when Iverson first came to the team, you had Jerry Stackhouse there. You had Tim Thomas. At a certain point, we had Derek Coleman, Keith Van Horn. We had a number of players. And what I wanted was for Larry Brown to be the coach of that team. But what he did was he looked at AI and he saw a shooting guard instead of a point guard. So he decided to move Stackhouse, bring in Eric Snow, who would play just really point guard and look to score maybe about 10 points a game, if that, but also play defense and just initiate the offense. He went and got Aaron McKee, who would just come off the bench, be your sixth man, get you about, between 11 and 15 a night. Tim Thomas he didn't like, because Tim Thomas was really one of the forerunners to the type of stretch fours they have now, 6'11". But Larry Brown, if you 6'11", he wants you down in the post, grabbing rebounds, playing like Kevin Garnett. That's what he want, and he wasn't that, so he got rid of him for Tyrone Hill. Okay, so he had Tyrone Hill. And he traded Stackhouse for Aaron McKee and Theo Radcliffe. Okay, Theo Radcliffe, a center who's about 6'11", who could jump out the gym, who could block shots, but he was light in the ass, man, when he played against Alonzo Mourning, Shaq, and those types of guys. And then he went and got George Lynch, who is just his type of player, who is my type of player as well. But I'm not going to have 5 George Lynches, and that team was able to scrap their way, get the ball to Iverson, get as far as they could. But what happens is when they run into a team that has all those stars, and really it took them a long time to get past the Indiana Pacers. We lost to the Pacers 2 straight seasons. Why? Pacers had Reggie Miller, Chris Mullin, Jalen Rose, Rick Smith, the Davis brothers. They had Travis Best coming on the bench. We got smoked 2 years. Right? To me, that way ain't fun. Like, to have a player that's really great, supposedly, but just can't play with other players that are great is a problem. I really wish Allen Iverson would have learned how to play with Stackhouse and Play with those guys. It would have been better for you along the run. Along the run. And sure, it's fun watching Iverson score 34 a night, right? Sure, you get a lot of joy out of it. But I would have got more joy out of his ass scoring 19, 20 than us winning a title. You know, those are things you got to think about, you know. And CC fans got to think about that. But it ain't like she can score like AI, even if she wanted to, though. You know, AI was just a freak athlete at 6 feet tall. So the age you put them numbers and even she can't do it by herself exactly. This league is too good. So these tools are funny. August Max, yeah, I'm glad you're here because I'm tired of you with this stupid get off the fence crap. Explain to me what get off the fence means. It says get off the fence. Clark took the Fever to the playoffs for the first time in many years in their rookie season. Yeah, they went to the playoffs, right? But she had alongside her a dominant big and Aaliyah Boston, and also a secondary scorer who was able to get 19 points a night on her own, who averaged the same amount of points as she did. Right? Like y'all really disingenuous when you say she took them to the playoffs. Like, and I hate it because I hate lies, I hate liars. Like, it's really disingenuous, man. And stop saying get off the fence because I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Nobody's on the fence. It's like it's your little term that you won't explain to me what it means. So what's up with Cardoso? She fouls people right on the arm all the time. No one told her how to use her height or what. Cardoso's young. She's young, man. But Camilla's great though. Yeah, they hate Swoops because Swoops is the only one that'll be honest about Clark. That's why they hate her. Uncle Jay says Sky may be able to move. I hope so, bro. I hope so, man. I really hope so. I really hope so. Oh, if you look at the Texas Tech team, Jared, all they had was Swoops. They had nobody else. That team had less talent than than Iowa did. Another CC fanboy says when CC actually plays the way y'all want her to, and the Fever are unstoppable, then it's going to be another narrative, ain't it? Why would it be another narrative? I would say she played well. She plays the way I wanted to play. What kind of question is that? If CC was playing off ball, swinging it around, implementing the mid range, and doing those things, why would I change the narrative? If she wins, there's nothing you can say if she wins. Why are you gonna change something if she wins? So y'all beat AIB, Vince Carter, and Big Three and the Bucks to get there. I was impressed. Yeah, but they were favored to win those against those teams. You know, yeah, the Bucks was tough. That was a tough series. Vince Carter was a monster that series too that year. Yes, they were. Avery fan is funny. But oh man, I'm getting tired. Here comes this damn question. Think how many chips would AR have have if she played 4 years in Iowa? And how many would Cece have if she played 4 years at Arizona alma mater? I don't understand. How many trips would AR have if she played 4 years in Iowa? You said zero. I don't know. I don't speculate. How many would Cece have if she played 4 years at Arizona alma mater? Zero. Yeah, I agree. Cece probably has zero if she played at AR's alma mater. Yeah, I agree with that. The main reason is Kilmoki wouldn't let Cece play like that. Kilmoki don't go for that shit. So that wouldn't happen. Kilmoki is very old school, man. It's funny because not too long ago I was watching, man. I went back and I watched the UCLA Bruins. I mean the USC Trojans, Lady Trojans with Cheryl Miller, Cynthia Cooper, and the twins they had and everything against um, was it the Lady Vols or who it was? Kim Mulkey though. Kim Mulkey was the point guard. That was funny to watch, man. Kim Mulkey was so tiny and feisty. It was funny. I like watching back in the day stuff. August Max says, Fulan, I will continue to tell you get off the fence until you admitted Clark is a great player. As a basketball player, I stand on that. Obviously did not play ball. Um, what first of all, um, you won't be able to continue to do anything if I make sure that your ass can't get to my page. That's number one. So explain to me what get off the fence means, and then we can continue, right? But you keep saying it, and one day I'll come in, right, and I'll go to my page, and I'll be in a bad mood because of something else that happened, right? Then I'll see you say get off the fence again, and then I'll just kind of block you. Like that could just happen at any moment, right? So that's what I'm saying. But what I want you to do so that we don't get to that is explain to me what you mean when you say it. I don't understand your wording. Right? That's all I'm asking. What does it mean, the phrase? Get off what fence? What fence am I on that I need to get off? Right? And what's it to you if I say Clark is a great player or not? Right? I've already explained many times. It all depends on what you're talking. Right? Is she a great basketball player in general? Absolutely. She is a professional basketball player that is playing at the highest level. So of course she's a great basketball player. Why? Because they're all great basketball players. That's the only way you get to make one of those rosters. Okay. Um, that's never been my point. Is she a great basketball player? So that ain't never been it. What it's always been is I don't like her game. That's the issue. Like maybe you haven't followed the channel long enough. I never said she's not a great basketball player in general. Sure she is. What I said was I don't like her game, and I don't think she'll win the way she plays. That's been the issue. Okay? So you don't have to keep saying get off the fence till I admit she's a great player. If CC was black, she would have had her signature sneakers already. All right. What makes you think black people have some type of advantage over white people? I'm serious. Like, explain to me why you believe black people get advantages over white people in the United States of America, Israel. And don't go nowhere. I want to hear. I want to hear this. What advantages do black people have over white people in the United States of America, sir? And why? What would lead you to believe that? We're gonna not hurry up on CC's shoe because she's white. We're just gonna give her 28 million, which is more than all the black players combined, right? We're gonna give her 28 million, which give her more money. But we're just gonna take forever to do her shoe because she's white. Explain to me how that works. I always I have a need to just understand the logic behind people's statements. We're not talking about USA. We're talking about WNBA. What does the WNBA have to do with a Nike shoe? You do understand they're two different entities, right? Nike and the WNBA, they're not the same entity. So why would Nike, who's making the shoe, WNBA don't make the shoes, Nike, who's making the shoe, why would they hurry up and give her a shoe? And do you realize how long it took Asia to get a shoe? Because you do realize like Asia's not in her second year. Asia's in what, fifth, sixth, seventh year? Like Asia had to win championships first. Asia had to win MVPs first. Asia had to win. Like, show me an example of like an unaccomplished black player with a signature shoe that leads you to believe that blackness aids in you getting the shoe faster than whiteness. Like, I need to understand this logic because this is like a popular thing. This new MAGA bullshit. So I'm trying to just understand. But y'all think Cece gets more respected because she's white? I just believe opposite. That's all. No, what you said was that if she was black, she would have a signature shoe already. That's what you said. And I'm trying to figure out the logic behind that. Like her being black, why would that get a signature shoe already? Like, why would that make it faster? But if you want to discuss whiteness versus blackness, I think we got a whole goddamn history to kind of like support that. And I don't know what you're talking about. I think she gets more respected because she's white. No, I think she gets respected because she got millions of damn fans, right? Now, many of those fans might think she's special or might feel like they relate to her because she's white. I definitely believe that there's an element of that. And that's because I've read comments from fans who said that. There's fans who literally said to me, said, you just mad that the best player in the world is white. Like I've had people, like I've read comments where people said that to me. I've read comments they said, you just mad because the best NBA player and the best WNBA player is white. Right? So there are people who have that type of that mindset. That's not like a figment of some people's imagination. That exists. I'm just trying to figure out I'm trying to figure out the other side of that. Trying to figure out the white person who feels like they're just disenfranchised. I'm trying to relate. I really can't. I'm having a lot of trouble with that one. I believe that LeBron and Jordan had it first year. CC is just as popular as both of them, as LeBron James and Michael Jordan. All right, let me let's do this then. Give me an example of a woman who had this signature shoe just right away. And how do you know the reason why Caitlin's signature shoe ain't out already? Like you do realize there's a process. Like we have to agree on a design. We have to agree on these things. How do you know Caitlin isn't holding it up? How do you know her people ain't holding it up? I'm not even going to entertain she's as popular as LeBron and Jordan. I'm not even going to entertain that. That's ridiculous. By the way, because the women's game is not as popular as the men's game. Period. Like just in general. So I think that's a difficult argument to make. But what we can do is try to point to maybe a woman or something like that. Rafael Major says, Flan, you don't think CC will win playing the way she plays? You have the right to your opinion, but a point guard that has high basketball IQ, high court vision, is elite passing the ball can win. Oh boy. Um, all of that you said down there is subjective. Okay. Let's talk about what we actually see. We see a player come up the court, right, and likes to make their most popular shot a three-pointer shot, but not even close to the three line, but farther away from the line. Do you consider that high IQ? Just the shot selection, right? Because throwing people open, y'all act like that's just the only IQ. That's not the only IQ. That's about the same IQ as most players, to be honest with you. You know, I'm talking about like shot selection. Talking about knowledge of when to slow the game down. Because there's times you do got to slow the game down. Like y'all think you just keep running and running and running and running. You know, sometimes like when you got the lead, slow it down. Right? And I'm not saying she's not a high IQ player. There's been coaches that have tested to it. Cheryl Miller says she has a high IQ, such and such, right? So I'm not saying she has a low IQ. But what I am saying is, as a young player, she still has things to learn, right? We're not going to act like this is just some perfectly intelligent player right now. But what'll keep her from winning, in my opinion, okay, is you can't combine bad shot selection, which leads to inconsistent scoring, along with bad defense and bad ball protection. Can't turn it over and play bad defense. And rely on the three-point shot. That's all. But if she goes and wins, now I think she can win if she just, like I said, decided she just want to play point guard. And decided, okay, I'm not worried about my points. I'm just going to get this offense initiated. I want to protect the ball. I think there's so much talent on that team that if she did that, they could win. Boy, anyway, I got to go. Reggie, stuff is crazy, ain't it? Can't Caitlyn defend what she doing? I don't understand what you're saying, bro. No, Caitlin Clark's not a good defensive player, sir. If that's what you're talking about. August Max, take your ball, leave the court. Like I said, you never played the game it shows. I did not call you out your name or use any derogatory. I don't care if you called me out my name, you derogatory. I don't care about none of that. And I ain't call you out your name or you derogatory language you. You know what I mean? But you don't know me. I'm going to stop talking to me like you do know me or you know what I did or didn't do. And just because I don't think Caitlin Clark is good, that's not a fucking proof of somebody didn't play basketball. Right? That's a stupid ass metric to judge. Just because somebody don't think Caitlin Clark is great, it means they didn't play basketball. You don't know me, dog. It's just that simple. Let me see. She has won at every level. Well, that's a lie. Matter of fact, you done got on my nerves, so yeah, I'm time to keep going forward, back and forth with these dudes, man. Anyway, let me just go ahead. Appreciate everybody coming out. It was a nice time. Nice talking to you. But I got to go. Give me some sleep. Peace out.